I'm going to take a player with a 0.7 KD and turn them into a 2+ KD player. Welcome to week 1 of our 8-week Bot to Pro series. Meet Newbie. Newbie is a console player who played Rebirth and Fortune's Keep in Warzone 1, but ultimately stopped playing Warzone 2 about 2 months in because, well, let's just leave that in the past. With all the recent positive changes, Newbie decided to start playing Warzone again. His current KD is 0.7 and his current PR is 15. Now, I'm a 4.5 KD player and my PR is 48, but when I first started playing Warzone a few years ago, I also had a 0.7 KD. All of my content is centered around Warzone coaching, helping players improve. So that's exactly what we're doing over the next 8 weeks. If you are looking to get better, follow along with each episode. Make sure you are subscribed down below. And who knows, maybe you might just turn into a 2 KD player as well. So starting off here, we're going to be breaking down a recent game that he had, focusing on 4 main things: his aim, his movement, his positioning, and his gameplay strategy. Really paying attention to mistakes that he makes, areas that he can improve upon, and also highlighting some things that he does do well. Now, they're playing some duos here on Vinyl. He did queue in with I'm Never Leaving, so they are on the same page. They have comms and everything. They're going to go ahead and land a little bit hot. This is a hot area, and unfortunately, he gets landed on here and goes down to a guy with the Renetti. The Renetti starter pistol is broken. And look, I don't care whether you're a 0.5, a 2.5, or a 5 KD player. You're going to run into people who land in with zero intention of grabbing a gun. They just want to kill you with the pistol, whether they're shooting you, beating you down, no matter what it is. They have no intention of grabbing a gun. It is what it is. It's going to happen. Now, right here, I would pull shoot. What we're going to see is he's going to go ahead and be very aggressive, and I want you to pay attention to this window right here by my cursor. Watch this window right here. See that guy that kind of jumped in at his teammate? You know, when we are landing back in or redeploying here, pull your parachute for a second. Take advantage of spawn protection. Get a sense of what is going on around you. How many teams? How many enemies? You know, we see multiple enemies on the rooftop here. Our doors opened. Our crates opened. Little things like that. And of course, we do have, you know, the mini map as well here with a portable radar down where we see multiple enemies, but we want to take note of what is going on around us, because that's going to allow us to get information and kind of keep our head on a swivel a little bit. Now, right here, I would also love to see him live ping that guy for his teammate. You know, we're gonna see a really good live ping play a little bit later on, but in that situation, like, that's just gonna make it easier for your teammate to get that kill. Now, both of them need plates. We're obviously in this early game here trying to get guns that we're comfortable with, trying to get cash, ammo, plates, and everything that we need to do to gain that momentum. One of the biggest things that they're going to struggle with gameplay strategy wise is getting that loadout down, and it's partially because they push and are very aggressive with floor loot guns. Now, I always ask people this: are you more comfortable with floor loot guns or with your loadout guns? And if the answer is your floor loot guns, then you've got a problem with the guns that you're setting up in your loadout. The answer should never be floor loot guns. So we want to prioritize that loadout. If you are subscribed, you know I always talk about pacing on Vondel. It's not about early game. If you take the first a minute and a half or 2 minutes of this first circle to get your loadout down and you get 0 kills, you're still in a great position to drop a high kill game. What we're going to see here is they kind of are in the blender consistently because they're struggling to win gunfights, or, you know, no matter what it is, they just aren't getting that loadout down, and it does hurt them. Now, right here, we see the live ping play. When we talk about live pinging enemies, this is something that everybody needs to improve upon. And you're going to see it right here. Notice how we can easily track where this guy is moving to, through the wall, right? So in this moment right here, when Newbie live pings this guy, if he does not live ping him, he could drop down and go in the building. He could drop down and push, you know, further towards heli building. He could drop down and go in the water. We would have no idea. But the live ping allows both Newbie and his teammate to understand where this guy is moving to. We take away that level of unpredictability. It allows us to kind of make a quick decision and get a general idea of where he is going. The other thing that I will say is, with the change in loadout cost, they're not that far away from getting a loadout. I mean, they only need like $3,600 here, which is a few crates. Who knows? You open a crate, it's $2,000. You're that close to a loadout, at which point we feel a lot more comfortable and we have more outplay potential with that perk package. Now, right here, his teammate's going to take the zip, and as he pushes up, he does end up going down, unfortunately, in like 3, 2, 1 right there. Okay, so teammate goes down. In this moment, be strategic. Now, these medicine cabinets, this is just a little thing. You know, I don't know if I would have opened it, but it is something that I do want to highlight. First of all, they have stims in them, which are great, again, in Warzone. But second of all, it takes off the timer from his teammate. So if he opens a crate or anything at this point, this is very kind of like basic Resurgence info, but I at least want to cover it. If he opens a crate or anything, it does take time off his teammate's Resurgence timer. We see it right there. His teammate redeploys immediately. Now, what do we do in this moment? We're at $6,700. We have good cash flow. Like, we're pretty close. The one problem is we don't have a buy station around us. So that's another thing that you always want to make sure that you're doing is landing somewhere kind of close to a buy station and working your way towards that so that when you do have enough for loadout, you can easily drop it. Now, as he turns this corner here, he's going to go ahead. He barely catches a glimpse of this guy pushing in. So now he's going to go ahead and kind of pinch this with his teammate. Kind of quickly clears there. And look at his centering. His centering's not bad. Top of the stairwell. He's kind of ready for that enemy to be there. And as he turns the corner, really good job hip firing right there. Hip fires doesn't even think about ADSing. And that guy's teammate is all the way over this way, not even close, but he does hear another enemy around him. So I want to kind of break down this situation twice. I want to talk about like what he could have done differently, and I want to talk about something that he did really well that we can learn from. So what should he have done differently? He did a good job of sprinting while plating here, putting that plate in. I would have shut the door just to kind of slow that guy down for a half second, and B, lay prone here. Because if you lay prone and this guy flies around the corner, what we do is he's going to be aiming higher, and then when he goes to pull down, we can jump up, and that allows us to take a little bit less damage. I mean, what you see here is that Newbie is broken before he even gets a shot off on this guy. So that's just something we can start to do against these sweaty players. Now, the one thing I want to highlight that he does really, really well here is track this guy with a hip fire. So right here when he's ADS, there's no way you will ever catch up to this guy with the new movement mechanics, with slide canceling and how fast sliding is. So you have to un-ADS like that in order to retrack, at which point you can get a few shots. That guy's a good player. You know, that guy is a very good player. He hits shots well. He used movement to his advantage. You see how much he's slide canceling right here. And he even almost takes out Newbie's teammate as well. I'm never leaving here. But I'm never leaving is able to clutch it up and bring Newbie back in. Now, once again, we're flying back in, trying to get a sense of what's going on. You see that he is just straight down here. Even if it's for a half second, guys, pull your chute and try to get a sense of where people are. Not only is it going to help you with like immediate decisions in terms of like, hey, there's a team pushing, or, you know, there's a team close by, but it could also help with your rotation of like, where do we want to go next? What do we do from here? Like, once we're regained, what do we do? By the way, notice how much cash they have. They have enough for loadout. They're just not prioritizing it. At this moment right here, I would say, let's go to market right now and get our loadout down. You know, and here's the crazy part. We're still at 1 minute and 33 seconds left before this first circle starts closing. Little bit of a blender game thus far. Still plenty of time. You know, if you are subscribed, the breakdown for a 20 kill game is 4 kills in the first, 4 kills in the second, 6 kills in the third, and 6 kills in endgame. If he went and got loadout right here, they would have 1 minute and 10 seconds left in first circle. You can easily pick up 2 kills in 1 minute and 10 seconds, at which point he is on 20 pace. Let's go ahead and rock and roll here. Now he's got this one guy up top, going to try to use the Renetti, just can't quite get that guy. And remember the first guy that killed Newbie and flew back in on him, or flew directly in on him? Here he goes again. Sure enough, Newbie's going to be looting up just a little bit, trying to get regained. Guy just flies in with the Renetti. You know, it's the same exact guy. I don't know. This guy might have realized that the Renetti's broken. Like, he has the Renetti as a starter pistol, and he's just going. Or he might just be that player that loves to land back in and kill guys with pistols. I do want to commend Newbie for this, guys. He's not cheating. He's not doing anything wrong. Yes, it's frustrating, but good job by Newbie not to report for anything. Do not do that. That's how people get shadow banned, and if you've ended up in the shadow ban loop, you know it is a miserable place to be. Now, finally, guys, finally, they're going to get loadout down. They're going to start to get some momentum here. They're going to start to figure out this gameplay strategy dynamic, you know, and start to piece it together. And look, in the beginning, if you're a sub 1 KD player, aim and movement is the most important thing. Episode 2 is going to be all about aim and movement and starting to get better at those, get more fluid, hit more shots. But if you are, you know, a 1 KD player or above, this is where we start to get into the gameplay strategy dynamic, you know, making sure that we're getting momentum, popping UAVs, pushing people quickly. correctly, making the right decision about when to challenge versus back off. So those are all things that we're going to be covering throughout this 8-week series, helping newbie, but also you as well, become a much better player. Now, what do I want to highlight right here? This is a big one, guys. This is a big one that a lot of you struggle with. We've got a UAV in pocket, okay? And by the way, the other thing that I will say when it comes to gameplay strategy is even though they had the free loadout, I like the fact that they bought the loadout. Why? Because now we have the free loadout to regain. So I always try to get that loadout down. If I'm playing solo, trio, solo quads, or solo, whatever it is, even if I'm playing with a squad and I have enough to get a loadout down, even if we already have one, do it. Because at some point, this loadout's going to disappear and you're going to like wish you had it. So right here, the biggest thing that I note is basically think about the fact that this starts at 2 seconds, okay? So 2 seconds, and now we start at 1:50. So 2 seconds, and then we're going to count down from 1:50. Watch how long they stay in this building for. The UAV only lasts 25 to 30 seconds, okay? So a minute, they're at 12 seconds now, right? There's 15 seconds. So it took them half the UAV to make a decision about where they wanted to push. Now, who do you push here? I don't care. Honestly, if they went and pushed this guy, I'm okay with that. The smart play is 100% to go push these guys over here. Why? Because there's multiple, right? The key to high kill games is not wasting time, not, taking too long to rotate, being able to quickly get into your next engagement. So they are going to end up pushing over this way. I just wish it was a quicker decision. It took half the UAV in order to eventually go push over this way. Now, next up, let's talk about positioning here. This is a big one. We haven't highlighted aim movement too much because it hasn't been anything crazy. Yes, there's always room for improvement, but it's okay. And now we're getting into this positioning dynamic here. When we talk about positioning, 5 main things: information, range, cover, high ground, and angles. Are we acting on information? In this case, yeah, we know there's 2 teams around this kind of general vicinity. What's the range? We've got a Bass B. We're in a great range to get a down with the Bass B here. We are within that first damage profile that gives us a fast TTK. Cover and high ground. Do we have cover? Yeah, we've got a little bit here. We can play this head glitched. We don't have high ground, which I'm going to highlight here in a second because there's going to be enemies on this side. And then angles. Do we have a good angle to be able to actually get the down? So those are the 5 things: information, range, cover, high ground, and angles. Right here on his level, that guy's got no cover, so he might be able to get that down. And notice he's just kind of waiting here. Now he's able to get this down right here. Good shots with the Bass B. Can't quite get that thirst, and then he gets high alerted from the left side. Now when he gets sniped right here, watch what he does. He's prone. He has cover. Watch what he does here. So he retreats and completely exposes himself to everybody that is on this side right here, which we knew those were the original teams that we were pushing. So all you have to do here is say, hey, I'm safe from the team in police. I'm safe from the team behind me. Let's go ahead and replay, and then we need to reposition. And by the way, if any of those 5 things are off, information, range, cover, high ground, angles, you've got to reposition to fix it. So right here, what we're going to see is, hey, we got this guy straight across. Can't quite get that because he ducked down, and now we get the full kill. So he's at 3 kills. The other teammate dropped down below there. Right here. Good shots right there. Doesn't get that kill. They get the team wipe sound. He doesn't get that kill. Now, we know that there's more people across here. So when we look at this and we say, okay, we have the information, we're in a good range for the Bass B, we've got some cover, he's getting high alerted from police still over by heli. We're in a good spot here potentially, but could we be in a better spot? Could we be in a better spot to go challenge this guy right here? The answer is yes. The answer is if we were to get up top, kind of over, can you see this behind my camera? You can't. Let me flip camera off. If we were to pop up and play up top over this way, that gives us a little bit of high ground and a really good angle to shoot on these guys across. So that's where, when we look at it, information, range, cover, high ground, and angles, we have information. We're in a good range for the Bass B. We need to find better cover, we need to find a better high ground and a better angle to be able to go ahead and challenge those guys. And you even see this, like he's trying to find it, and now he's going to go ahead and push down below. Now we do see some flashes of greatness from Newbie here. This is what I'm most excited about to be able to get into, because I think this is something we can really build on. He gets the down. He's going to go ahead and push back in. Now, the only thing that I would do differently here is he's going to get the down. He's going to push into the water to plate. I would go into this building. Now, I don't know if this was just a split-second decision or lack of map knowledge, but all we need to do here is break the line of sight. I push into this building right here in the door, at which point that gives me the ability to finesse, right? So we're sprinting while plating, which we saw there, immediately putting that plate in, taking advantage of the increased movement speed. And now from here, he is going to go ahead and work his way right back in. He's going to center around the corner, trying to get ready for this guy, see if he's going to push. Go ahead and challenge here. There's number one. Good shots there to down enemy number one, and he's going to push right back in here to be able to kill enemy number two. Just a little bit of strafing. Only thing I would say here is be very careful, which a lot of you guys do this, strafing forwards, right? We always want to be strafing side to side or backwards. He's strafing forward straight at that guy, but hey, we get the kills. We'll take it. You know, 5 kills so far. Obviously, we're not on 20 pace anymore, but you know, good little double kill right there, especially the back off and the re-engage. I really like that. Now he's going to go to the rooftop to throw this buy station. Gameplay strategy-wise, and when it comes to pacing, just throw this thing. Take some time to get in anyway, so just throw it down, let it land on the rooftop, at which point you can go ahead and buy. Let's talk about shooting people out of the sky. Notice he is, guys, when you're shooting people out of the sky and they are moving left to right, like this guy is, left to right or right to left, and they're not just like flying right at you or something, you need to lead your shots. See how he's aiming at the guy? He needs to be aiming about where my cursor is, because you're going to see, watch these bullets, just you see how they're just missing behind him? You need to aim in front of the guy and kind of let that bullet velocity meet the enemy. So just a little tip there for shooting people out of the sky. You can see it right here that his bullets are, he hits the first few, and then his bullets are going to be consistently behind there, at which point he's not able to get that down. That's a pretty tough down to get out of the sky when people are moving left to right or right to left, but it is doable if we lead those shots. Now, once again, let's talk about positioning here. We have information. We have enemies over this way. We've got, and what I really love here is we've got two right here, but we've got 2 solo guys. We have a solo guy here, and we've got a solo guy here. So those are good players to act on. We're always going to be looking for 1v1 fights. Stacking is real in Resurgence. It has gotten significantly worse. Players playing very close. I get it's a team game, guys. I 100% get it. But at the end of the day, people play so close to their teammate like it's ranked or BR or something that they're getting 2 kills and then, you know, go... Never mind. Anyway, any solo fight that we can get, any 1v1 fight we can get, we want to be able to take it. You know, it's just going to make it that much easier. We don't have to worry about that second teammate. Now, notice they have the information, but they're not doing anything with it, right? They're not acting on it. They're not information, range, cover, high ground, angles. If any of those 5 things are off, we need to reposition and find and fix it. So we have the information. We're in a good range. We just don't have an angle on these guys. We don't even have an angle to get the information. And by the way, now we get another UAV up, and we're not going to go push that solo player. We're not going to push the solo guy across that's on our level. I know where he is. Like, he's right in this building somewhere. He's right in this little, you know, he's right in this window here somewhere. And I guess, actually, I'll give Newbie a little bit of benefit of the doubt here. That arrow is popping up down below, technically because this guy is slightly below the level that Newbie's on. Little bit of a technicality, little bit unfortunate there. But, you know, we see the sniper glint straight ahead. Now he's going to go ahead and drop down. That's okay. This is why cover is so important. This is why you don't want to get caught out in the open here, because at this point, you can easily break that line of sight. Once again, we break that line of sight, not a huge deal. But notice we never really tried to fix the angles issue. We never really tried to act on that information. We were just hoping that they were going to, like, jump out the window or, you know, maybe, like, run out into the open or something like that, at which point we can react. And that's something we're really going to be focusing on. Starting to push enemies and keep control of fights versus getting pushed or just reacting to what's going on. A lot of you guys just react to situations. Now, right here, you know, 10 other teams left. We've got 5 kills. We obviously have the reinforcement flare, which is always helpful if it's just you and a teammate, whether it's duos, whether it's, you know, duo trios, duo quads, just to help your teammate come back a little bit sooner. Now, he's going to get shot in the back right here, and he is going to end up going down. Now, the one thing that I would tell him here is do not panic, right? Okay, so we're right here. Just lay prone. Just buy yourself a half second. Buy yourself half a second here. Drop down, use your cover of this little tree bed here, right? Use this little piece of cover that you have to let your smoke hit, maybe even throw in a plate, at which point you'll be able to get away. Now, there's another team here, but if that smoke hits, you have a little bit more outplay potential, right? You can hide in it a little bit better. Now, what's going to end up happening here is his teammate is going to kind of be finessing around this area, trying to see what's happening. Let's go ahead and push this forward just a little bit. And right here, you see squad eliminated. He gets shot in the back, ends up running right into this guy, and that's a 5-kill game in 10th place. So that is our baseline. That is where we're beginning. Needs to work on aim and movement, needs to work on positioning, needs to work on pushing versus getting pushed, and gameplay strategy. Those are all things that we are going to be working on over the next 8 weeks. Welcome to the Bot to Pro series. I will see you next week for episode 2.